Well, I tried video and put this thing back on there, but boy, was that a fail. Everything I touched fell apart, and it doesn't make any difference. It is what it is. Well, I'm going to do a cold start again. I know we just did a big one from sitting for 2 years, but I'm going to try this out. It's going to be the first start since I put this back together and see what we got. Well, I got a fine adjustment to make on this side here because it's a lot tighter than it was, as you can see. I made these things pretty tight, actually tighter than I kind of like. I may adjust that one just a little bit, but I'm going to adjust the spring because it's grabbing as that thing goes. So I'm going to put the seat back on and be back in a second. Well, let's just see how it does on the maiden voyage here. If I can get on this little thing. These do have some adjustments. These handles I could move. Can actually adjust those up. Depends on how you like your arm. I like them a little closer together. I don't like being out here. It's kind of like having a set of ape hangers on a Harley. Yeah, I kind of like looking at it, but boy, that would be uncomfortable about 5 minutes. To me, it would be anyway. Call that a success. Turn the gas back off. That is definitely what I was hoping it would do. So I know I didn't get a lot of video of it prior to that, but it was not doing that. I mean, I had one video there and it was very erratic. It kind of did what it wanted to do. This is, of course, mind you, as I explained on the last first part, second part, wherever this is going to fall in, I have never drove a zero turn before. So I mean, just this one here around the garage area for the last 3 or 4 years, for maybe 5 times altogether, and it was very erratic, and so you could not get a you couldn't get a feel for it at all. And so no. You can cry about it all you want. You're not coming in, flea bag. Anyway, so I'm pretty happy with the way it came out. So I need to change oil. Already bought it. And hang on a second. You know better. Anyway, got to change oil in it, and I'm going to clean it up, check the air pressures, probably sharpen the blade. There's only 2 or 3 things I found that's actually greasable. But I'm going to check the deck again and stuff to see, and then come spring, or maybe if it warms up here a few days, I may go ahead and, it doesn't have a mulching blade on it, but I may go ahead and kind of chop up the leaves out in the yard there a little bit, kind of see how it does in the grass. And there are probably going to be a couple of fine-tune adjustments, but it felt pretty good. I pushed both handles straight forward, and it actually went in a straight line instead of pulling one way or the other. So it pulled to the right real bad. Bad enough that if you wanted to go in a straight line, you had the right one all the way forward, and you had to pull the left one almost back a little bit to get it to go straight. Otherwise, it would just, I mean, it would do a really ugly right-hand arch. So I'm happy with the way it came out. I wish I could have done videos of putting it in and taking the unit out itself, but I think the actual explanation and showing the video of it coming apart and going back together probably is more helpful to somebody than taking it out. It's not hard to figure out how many bolts you got to take out to take something apart. It literally only had 2 hooks, 2 bolts that hold the actual frame to the to the actual drive to the frame, and then there was the 2 handles had to be unhooked. The emergency brake in this particular unit, because it has one on both sides the way they hook in, had to be unhooked. And of course these chains, which had the guards, had to come off, which was kind of a pain because the guard itself, now mind you, I'm sure this changed over the years. This is specifically the 1994 3302 30-inch cut Dixon, and this is how this particular model is set up. I mean, I know there's differences and all the rest. Since this was a success, a friend of mine has a Dixon that's newer than this, but about the same 30-inch cut, that the cones are completely done on his. So I told him if this worked out for me, that I would go ahead and work on his for him, and because he doesn't have the patience for it. And it's not that he's scared of it by any means. He would tear anything apart like me. He doesn't have a garage. So he would have to do this out in the middle of a yard somewhere, and you lose. I bet I dropped 50 nuts and washers on this deck. I finally had to get my extension out with a that has a magnet on the end, because I don't know how many things I dropped down on the trying to, because that's the problem, is once you start putting all the little pieces together, you can no longer get your hands inside that unit to start putting nuts and washers and stuff back on, and it's kind of. It's not hard. It's just a kind of a challenge. But anyway, that's where we're at. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. And I noticed I drove by the local place that used to sell Dixons, and they have 2 out back, like in Death Row. And I am not saying I'm an expert on Dixons, but these have a cult following, and there's people that still like these. A little 30-inch, maybe not so much unless you got a small yard and you're getting a little older. But I'm pretty pleased with how the units are set up. I now I see why they had such a following, and anyway, I'm gonna get our show rattling. See you next time.